Greetings, friends. In this video, I want to talk about one of the most commonly asked questions that I get, which is, what should I do after I've submitted my application in order to get a license to operate in my state? And it's pretty normal for people who've never been in business to ask this question. And I've written down some notes here so I don't forget anything, because I want to deliver the most value for you guys. Oftentimes, when people call me or when they schedule time with me, they are caught in a mess of confusion. There's so much information out there. There's so much information on YouTube here. There's so much information that you can acquire from even your friends or family members. But nobody's really trying to focus on the number one thing that you should be doing. There are multiple things, obviously, that need to be done. We all know this. For example, we all know that we need to set up a website. We need to set up our logos, hiring staff. But there's always one thing that people avoid bringing up. You want to know what that is? Is to go and get the money, to go and ask for the money from the clients. Most of the people think that they should just wait for a referral to come in, which is fine too. If you already built out a network of social workers that can come to you and say, these are some of the clients that you can have, then well and good, you've done well. But you see, most people don't have that, especially when they're starting off in this business. They don't have referrals. They don't even have access to social workers. You will find that even the RNs are struggling to figure out what the next step should be after they're submitted for a license. Asking for money or going to look for the clients that will pay you should come first. Let me explain to you why. I've spoken to a lot of people that already have a license to operate in their state, but they don't know how to get clients. They get stuck in this loop. The loop they're stuck in is how to get clients, how to make their business profitable. The main reason why we get into business is to make money, right? So why are we avoiding doing the one thing which will bring in the money, which is sales? Sales is critical in all businesses. All businesses either make it or don't make it based on sales. My business cannot make it if I'm not a good salesperson. And your business will never make it if you're not a good salesperson. It's strange because some of the people that I talk to make good money at their jobs, but when I try to explain to them that you are actually worth more than that, they have a hard time grasping that concept. And I think I know why. It's because a lot of you have never been told that you are more valuable than you are at your current job. Instead, most of you are constantly being criticized, constantly being hated on by other coworkers, which is not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. If you got a lot of haters, it's a good thing. That means you're doing something. That means you're great. You should be grateful that you got haters, because that means you're great. Where the challenge is with you is that you don't have the ability to think outside the box, or you don't have the bigger picture. If you're an RN and you work for a major hospital and you're used to managing probably, let's say, 10 patients, have you ever asked yourself how much your hospital makes off of those 10 patients? Have you ever wondered how much they make versus how much they're paying you? Think about it. On average, most businesses make between 10 times more and 5 times more than what they're paying you. So if you're making, let's say, $150,000 a year, or let's say $100K a year as an RN, traveling nurses make even more than that. If you're making, let's say, $100,000 per year, it means that whoever is hiring you is making $1 million off of you, and you're only getting a fraction of that $1 million. That's how these businesses, that's how these establishments are able to build new wings. You might find, like, the agency that you're working at, the owner drives a Porsche. Why do you think they're able to afford that Porsche? It's because they're making $1 million. They're making $1 million off of your sweat, but only paying you $100K. You see? If you are valuable enough for them to hire you and they're making $1 million, imagine what you could do on your own. Imagine if you could get half of those patients, that means you're making $500,000. It's totally doable. And that's part of the reason why you're watching this video, because you want to get into business. But you forget the number one reason why you're in business, which is making money. So why are you avoiding it? A lot of people avoid it because it's uncomfortable, it's difficult. Asking for money is the most uncomfortable, the most difficult thing. But let me remind you something. You were able to demand or ask for the amount of money you're making right now. You were confident to ask for it. How come you're not confident to go and ask a client directly for that same amount of money? You can do it. What you need to do, as soon as you finish submitting your license to the state, there's going to be a time period where you're waiting, a waiting period, to see if your license has been approved or if there are any corrections that need to be made. Maybe that period could last 3 to 6 months, depending on the state, of course. Instead of you wasting time in those 3 to 6 months, you should be practicing your sales skills. You should be out in the field looking for clients, looking for private paying clients that are wealthy, that can pay for the best of the best. If you claim that you're good at your job, I promise you, other people are going to see it too. The clients are going to see it. They're going to see that you're valuable. The same way you're able to convince your current employer right now, you can convince a client directly, who has a lot of money, directly to work with them. You have it in you. You've sat in so many job interviews over the last couple of years, so you know how to do it. So I encourage you to think outside the box and focus on the main thing. By the time you figure out how to do your sales, by the time you have the level of confidence that is required to ask for $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 per month, by the time you get to that level of confidence, it's going to take you at least 3 to 6 months. This is before you even set up a website. This is before you even set up a logo. This is before you even set up anything else. The only thing you should have right now in order to start doing sales is your business checking account, your LLC, and at the very least, have submitted your application to get a license to operate in the state. Those are the 3 things you should at least have. Nothing else should stop you. And the 4th step should be starting your sales process. Do you have an idea of what kind of clients you're going to be reaching out to? Narrow that down. Because if you don't narrow it down, you're just going to be like everybody else. You have to remember something. We are more similar as human beings than we are different. So what you're thinking about right now is what 100 other people I've spoken to are already thinking. How do I know this? Because I speak to so many people already. So I compare notes. I know what's going on. I know how everybody's thinking. So I already know how you're thinking. And that's what's holding you back. You're having this mental block, like 100 other people I've spoken to already. You're no different from them. You're not special. Just like I'm not special. You and I are very similar in how we think. I just know how to think outside the box now. I just know the conventional way of thinking, and then I figure out how to think outside the box, and that's how you should be. Think outside the box, because everybody else is inside the box thinkers. And the other thing is that a lot of people want to focus on charging the least amount. They're tempted to charge the least amount for their services. And I understand where they're coming from, by the way, and I understand how you would think that way. Because you're saying to yourself, well, the economy is not so great. People are struggling. Who's going to pay me $20,000 to have a caregiver come to their home every single month? Rich people would do that. $20,000 to them is like $200 to me and you. It's nothing. It's no money. Rich people pay for the best of the best in order for their quality of life to be the best. So how you can have the confidence to demand 20 grand a month for caregiver services to these rich folks is by articulating the value to them. What I mean by articulating the value to them is, how do you increase the value of the services that you're delivering so that the client can say, this is a no-brainer. I'm paying 20 grand for this. Most caregivers only focus on showing up to the home, delivering activities of daily living, and that's it. This is just an example here. What you could do is you could articulate the value and say, well, we go beyond that. We focus on nurturing. So it could be your caregivers are the most organized, the most competent caregivers in the business, and they pay the most. If you're making $20,000 a month from a rich client, you can afford to hire 2 caregivers and pay them the most. And you can find the best of the best. There's so many good caregivers out there. The only way they'll stick around is if you pay them the most. If you pay the best the most. That's how they're going to stick around. So it's about articulating value. How are you different from the other agency that's going to send me somebody? How are you different? Figure out a way to articulate that value. If you don't know how to articulate that value, let's brainstorm together. Schedule a call with me. I have some cool ideas on how you can articulate this value to these clients. And I can also help you on how you can improve your sales skills. This is what I'm here for. Check out the link in the description. Click that link, schedule some time, talk to me, and I can give you some cool ideas on how to do that. Ultimately, in order for you to make the most money, your business needs to be so unique that even all the other agencies in your city cannot compete. Schedule time. I'll tell you what that is. Hope you got some value from this video, and I'll see you in the next one.